Pesach, two themes come together. One is the theme of freedom from slavery, and another one is the theme of revelation and knowledge of Hashem. These are the two aspects that we focus on Pesach. These are the two aspects of the gnus, of the disgraceful stage that we begin the story with. Once upon a time, our forefathers were idolaters, and now we know Hashem and serve Him. Once upon a time, we were slaves, and now we are free. Now, it's important to understand, how do these two aspects connect? What does freedom from slavery have to do with knowing Hashem and serving Hashem? Why are these two aspects both so prominent in the Haggadah and in, of course, the actual story of redemption from Mitzrayim? When Hashem redeemed us from slavery, He introduced Himself and said, Ani Hashem, I am Hashem, and now I will become known. So why is the knowledge of Hashem so connected to freedom from bondage? Here's an idea which is very worth contemplating. There may be other ways to look at this, but this one is very powerful. Certain kinds of knowledge are freedom. Here's why. Certain kinds of knowledge are servile. If a person knows how to do anything, let's say he knows everything about how to do. He knows how to build a house. He knows how to fix a car. He knows how to be an accountant. So he is full of knowledge, but he's full of knowledge of the servile kind, because the purpose of that knowledge, the purpose of those sciences or those arts, is for something else, which is the essence of servitude. Freedom, something free, is something which exists for its own sake. So if a person will have all sorts of knowledge and be a very wise man and all these practical kinds of wisdom, that won't imbue him with freedom, because he's full of knowledge. His mind is full of things that don't exist for their own sake. Now, there is one knowledge that truly exists for its own sake, and that is knowledge of Hashem. Because since Hashem exists for His own sake, knowing that, and understanding that, is knowing the true idea that there's something completely uncontingent on anything else. That is the essence of Ani Hashem, of knowing Hashem, of understanding that. Now, if a person is imbued with that knowledge, if a person is full, if his mind is full with this idea, with the science of there is something which is free, which does not exist for its own sake, and in fact everything else follows from that, that person is full with a spirit of freedom. Such a person cannot be enslaved. So Ani Hashem, the revelation of Hashem, and the fact that now we know Yichud Hashem, and that He's one, and that everything follows from Him. Now we know, now we are full with the free knowledge, a knowledge of what is for its own sake. And a person who is imbued with that idea and constantly consumed with the idea, with the knowledge of something which is for his own sake, such a person cannot be enslaved. And I mean that in a very practical way. A person who is in love with this idea and constantly consumed by it will be not amenable to slavery, because since he is someone who is passionate and consumed by something which is for its own sake, he is not capable of being enslaved. He's not capable of being an instrumentalist or an instrument for someone else's sake, because he's so aware of the most absolutely free thing, that absolutely mostly free knowledge is in his mind, and therefore defines him. That is a connection between Ani Hashem, Hashem's revelation, and freedom. Hashem redeemed us from slavery through revelation. By giving us this knowledge and making us great in mind, He made us incapable of being enslaved. And conversely, when He took us out of slavery, that itself opened ourselves up to look for freedom, in not only in physical freedom, but also freedom of knowledge. And freedom of knowledge is to find that absolute truth, which is non-instrumental, which exists only for His own sake, and that is the Das Hashem. So here are how the two things go together. Use this idea, learn about Ani Hashem, and you'll find yourself becoming more and more free. You'll actually see this happening. The more you know Hashem, the more you know that there's something which is beyond any constraints of practicality, any constraints of need. Just is what is, because it has to be. The more you understand that, the more you'll find yourself imbued with freedom. the more you'll be able to experience the spirit of the Zman Cheruseinu, the time of our freedom.